Today, we're diving into a really intense, highly prescriptive system designed to tackle digital dopamine addiction head-on. This framework comes straight from the Inspire Path Manifesto, and it takes a pretty fascinating approach. Instead of treating overstimulation and endless scrolling as just, bad habits, it treats them as a biological glitch. We're going to neutrally unpack this roadmap step by step to see exactly how it aims to help you reclaim your mental focus. Let's get right into how they build their case. So here is the 6-part roadmap we'll be following today. 1. The hijacked brain. 2. The dopamine detox. 3. Controlling your environment. 4. Exhaustion and urge replacement. 5. The anti-boredom system. And finally, 6. Shifting your identity.
Okay, let's dive into part 1, the hijacked brain.
Right off the bat, the creator completely reframes what we usually perceive as weakness. If you're always feeling distracted, this framework basically says, hey, it's not actually a character flaw, it's a biological hijacking. Our modern habits, like endless scrolling, have trained our brains to choose comfort over power. They call this the hijacked brain, a state where cheap dopamine has literally taken the wheel. By framing it this way, the system completely neutralizes the shame around addiction and replaces it with a mechanical problem that can simply be fixed.
And that leads to this incredibly stark foundational hook. You don't have a discipline problem. According to this framework, relying on willpower is totally useless when your biological system is rigged against you. To regain control, you don't just need to try harder. The system itself needs to be rebooted.
That brings us to section 2, the dopamine detox.
Now, this framework doesn't do weaning. There's no cutting back slowly. It demands an absolute declaration of war against the weakest version of yourself. For 7 days, the rules are rigid. 0 phone binging, 0 social media, and 0 entertainment. You get work, books, and silence. That's it. So why go to such an extreme? Well, the claim here is that your neurons literally have to be forced to feel true boredom again. Only when you reset that baseline will normal, healthy stimulation actually feel rewarding.
Next up is section 3, controlling your environment.
The manifesto relies on this really brilliant hard drive metaphor for the human mind. If you have garbage in, meaning your feeds are packed with explicit content or suggestive thumbnails, you are essentially programming yourself to fail, which results in garbage out. To actually survive the detox, an absolute digital purge is mandated. You have to unfollow your triggers, delete your watch histories, and for 1 solid week, consume absolutely nothing but educational content.
Moving right along to section 4, exhaustion and urge replacement.
There is a really vital distinction made here between suppressing an urge and replacing it. Trying to suppress an urge by sheer force of will, it's incredibly difficult and almost always ends in failure. But replacing an urge, that is framed as the winning strategy. You see, urges aren't the enemy. They're simply biological signals of pent-up, unused energy. The solution isn't to fight the thought in your head, but to physically redirect that energy elsewhere. And to do that, the system offers some highly actionable immediate steps. Step 1, shock the system. Go wash your face with freezing cold water the second that feeling hits. Step 2, force the energy out. Drop down and do 20 push-ups or go for a really heavy run. Deep physical fatigue distracts the brain. And step 3, just wait 10 to 15 minutes. The framework tells us to think of an urge like a wave. It rises, it peaks, and then it crashes. If you can physically distract yourself for that short 10 to 15 minute window, the wave passes. But if you try to negotiate with it, game over.
All right, let's look at section 5, the anti-boredom system.
You know what's interesting? The source argues that it's not actually the massive urges that cause most relapses, it's the quiet moments. An idle mind is framed as lust's playground. You're just sitting at home doing nothing, and boom, the thought appears. On the flip side, a busy mind is discipline's battlefield. You literally cannot wait for boredom to strike. You must have an anti-boredom plan prepared way before the moment of weakness hits. Keep a reading list on standby or have a new skill ready to practice. Pre-planning your next move completely denies those destructive habits the empty space they need to take root.
Finally, we reach section 6, shifting your identity.
Ultimately, the detoxing and the push-ups, they won't matter one bit if your internal narrative doesn't change. If your identity is, I am someone who always loses to my urges, well, you're gonna keep losing. You have to actively adopt a totally new identity. I am someone who controls my body and mind. Self-control isn't just a superpower in this framework, it is the absolute foundation of everything. Because if you cannot control yourself, the world is going to control you. To really hammer this home, the manifesto drops in an incredibly harsh moment of reflection. Lust doesn't reveal your weakness, it reveals your truth. Wow, it's a heavy quote, right? But it's designed to strip away all the excuses. Giving in to cheap dopamine isn't viewed as just a tiny slip-up. It's presented as a reflection of exactly who you are choosing to be in that specific moment. It's meant to be a wake-up call to draw a hard line in the sand.
And that brings us to the ultimate question posed by the source material, a question that really challenges you to reflect on your own self-control. Who are you really? Are you someone hijacked by digital comfort, or are you someone actively taking back control of your mind and energy? Throughout this explainer, we've walked through the Inspire Path's intense framework for breaking digital addiction. We've gone from understanding the biological hijacking, to the detox, to mastering your environment and urges. Yeah, it's a rigid, demanding system, but it's clearly one that resonates with folks looking for a real battle plan against distraction. So think about your own digital habits. Think about the inputs you allow into your mind every day. Ask yourself, how much of this system could you apply right now to reclaim your own focus?